Bitcoin has seen a major bullish breakout of a 5-week-long downtrending resistance. Will Bitcoin continue higher? How are the macro charts shaping up? And is there any downside risk remaining? In today's video, these are questions we're answering. Let's jump in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are taking a look at Bitcoin short-term and macro charts, discussing the recent breakout of the 5-week-long downtrending diagonal resistance, the next short-term expectations for Bitcoin, targets and key levels, as well as the retest and bounce from the leading span B on the Ichimoku cloud. We'll also be taking a look at the reclamation of the major 8-month-long uptrend for Bitcoin and the 200 SMA on the daily chart, as well as discussing a critical RSI trend line you should be paying attention to. On top of all of this, we'll be going over absolutely everything you need to understand what is happening with not only cryptocurrency, but the altcoin market cap as well. So before we do get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you're interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. If you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, join us on VIP. We have a VIP channel that has been around since February 2021. We post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to our group chats, our general chat, trading chart and education chat, news, daily video, help, and trade setup chat. If that is what you're interested in, go ahead and contact me in the pinned comment of the free channel by clicking my name or these links for more information. Again, you can find a video over here by clicking this link to tell you all about VIP and our entire trading track record with over 38 months of data with over 1,000 trades right over here for you to check out. Let's go ahead and jump on into the video. So like we said, guys, we have a whole bunch to discuss in today's video. So let's start on the market data. 24-hour volume is up 24%, a considerable amount, but we are coming out of the weekend now, so it is expected. 91 billion total. 24-hour liquidations up nearly 10% at 83 million. Of the 83 million in liquidations, 23 million have come from long positions and 60 million have come from short positions. This is obviously as a consequence of Bitcoin breaking out of that major 5-week-long downtrend, right? The downtrend we have been in ever since the retest and failure to break over that 72K range high of the macro horizontal consolidation. We have been under this downtrend now since essentially the start of June, officially breaking out of that downtrend midday yesterday, rallying up to a high of around 61,350. We're going to be discussing in today's video what we expect next, provided that we sustain above the downtrend, what we would expect Bitcoin to do, where our next targets would likely be, and worst case scenarios as well to plan for those worst case scenarios. Moving over to the DXY, taking a look, the DXY has bounced from that low level at 104. We do have some major economic news coming out. We of course do have the Federal Reserve Jerome Powell speech today. That is going to be in around about 15 or so hours, a very important event you do have to pay attention to. Again, Jerome Powell has a tendency to cause a fair bit of volatility for cryptocurrency in the traditional markets, and that could definitely influence whether or not we see Bitcoin sustain above this trend line, or worst case scenario, we could see a possible break back down if what is discussed is particularly bearish. We also do have some big events coming up later in the month. Particularly, we do have our PCE data and our personal incoming spending data. This is really relevant because it's leading data for our inflation rate. We also do have at the start of next month in August, we do have our interest rate data, which is going to be a massive release. Definitely pay attention to that. Moving over to the broader markets, the S&P 500 has opened up 2 hours ago. It is opened up slightly red at a price of around 5,680, sitting at around 5,670 as of right now. Overall, charts do still look very, very bullish. We are looking for continuations higher here on the macro. Again, regardless if we see short-term pullbacks, pretty irrelevant here, provided the 5,300 level is able to sustain. We are expecting macro directional continuations higher. If we do drop below 5,300, that would be a high time frame change of structure, and we would be expecting a total reversal in the price action. Until then, looking bullish, looking for higher. That is it for the broader market updates. Let's go ahead and jump into our Bitcoin analysis. Before we do, a quick word from today's video sponsors, and we'll go ahead and jump in. I wanted to briefly interrupt today's video to discuss the two exchanges we use on this channel, BitGet and BingX. So which exchange should you sign up to? If you look to the right hand side of the screen, you're going to see the list of differences in relation to KYC requirements and the countries these exchanges offer services to. The first link down below being the BitGet link, and the second link down below being the BingX link. No matter which link you sign up to, you're going to get up to 15% discounts on your trading fees, up to $5,000 in trading rewards, and of course, you'll get access to every single MegaWhale exclusive bonus campaign we run on these exchanges. Alongside that, BitGet and BingX are incredibly similar. They are both ranked top 10 in terms of trading volume. They both have extensive liquidity pools and market pairs offering up to 125x leverage. And most importantly, they both offer protection funds for their users to protect you against any third-party hacks. So get started now and support the channel by clicking the links below. Thanks for listening. Okay, MegaWhale team, let's go ahead and get stuck back into it. We're going to be taking a look at the total market caps to start off today's video. And as we can see, 2 days ago, we saw the total 3 market cap break through that downtrending RSI resistance, and that told us that we are going to see a positive momentum shift. We saw a positive momentum shift in the momentum, and we know that momentum is a leading indicator for price action, and generally see price action follow suit. We have since seen the price action for the total 3 increase around about $20 billion. We have seen a pretty decent reaction in the altcoin market. If we look on the right hand side of the screen, you can see a couple of altcoins I have listed over here, mostly green across the board, which is a really good indication. Again, altcoins are starting to gain some strength. We are currently retesting that downtrending dotted trend line, which is the center line of this broader channel formation. Again, what we have seen historically is the center line acts as a major pivot point for the price action. When we break below it, we see strong corrections down. When we break above it, we see these strong correct or continuations upwards. We are now retesting that level once more, telling us that the total market, or at least the total 3 market cap, is at a very interesting and important level of which we will either find resistance from and correct back down, or if we break above, we're almost verifying the fact that we're going to see these directional continuations upwards over the coming weeks to that range high. A particularly bullish move is looming. What we can see again with that RSI breakout, the probability that we do see that upwards move is now significantly greater than we see a correction. So the favor is definitely in the hands of the bulls. For this chart to turn properly bullish, we are going to need to see a breakout of this downtrending diagonal resistance. This, of course, is a channel formation. So we do take point number 1 to point number 2 for the measured move. That distance is then generally applied to the breakout point. We can see the overall expected breakout target is around 880 billion. And if we do zoom out to a weekly chart, what you will notice is the breakout of that resistance level will result in the total 3 clearing this yearly level of resistance. And if we clear this yearly level of resistance, we are officially entering that macro directional continuation to retest those all-time highs. So essentially, this was the last dip for the altcoin market. As of right now, it does appear to be that way. What we can see from the short-term structures and overall technicals is that the altcoin market is showing us signs that it is trying to see a reversal. It is attempting to reverse over here. We do not have all of the pieces on the table yet to signify we are 100% going up, but a very, very good start to what could be a potential macro reversal. We would like to see a little bit higher here for the total to validate that. So we are watching very closely over the coming days how the total responds to this trend line. Again, to keep it simple, break above the trend line, we see continuation. While we remain under the trend line, the possibility for a continuation back to low is there, but due to the fact that we had positive momentum, it is less likely than the break upwards. So it is not impossible, it is just less likely. Again, there's economic events such as the Jerome Powell speech today is going to potentially play a role in determining the short-term and even weekly reactions of most of these markets. Looking at the total market cap, a very similar picture here for the total. We have a very similar structure. Everything is essentially the same. We are also watching for that continuation to the midline, which we have not yet quite tested. The total is more of a reflection of the entirety of the cryptocurrency market as a whole. If we do see the total break that trend line, we are exceptionally bullish overall. While we remain under the trend line, again, the probabilities for a continuation higher is greater than a continuation lower. However, the possibility of a continuation lower is still on the table while we are underneath that midline. Two things to pay attention to. Let's jump over the Bitcoin chart. What we can see over here is the broader Bitcoin chart. This is our Brave New Coin Liquidnex chart. We're on the 3-day chart for Bitcoin, and we want to talk about the recent bounce from the leading span B on the Ichimoku cloud. What we can see here is that Bitcoin retested the leading span B, which is going to be this faint red line marking the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud, and we have since seen a bounce from that region. With that bounce, we have seen two really important signs. We have seen a crossover on the stochastic RSI, similar to the prior time we crossed over. We also bounced from the leading span B, and we saw that the RSI is at a higher point in comparison to the past time we retested that leading span B and had that stochastic crossover. These are signs of strength. These are signs that the bulls are stepping in and the price action is finding its footing. It's a good indication that we could potentially see this develop into a continued reversal. And what have we really seen on the short term? We have seen that continued reversal begin to develop. We have broken out of that 5-week long downtrend, which is essentially the first indication of proper structural strength for the first time since that rejection all the way back at the start of June. So a really good indication. But furthermore, this doesn't just tell us a possible reversal is incoming and we add an area of support. It can also identify itself as a major reversal point toward the downside if broken. So not only is it a major support, with major support, they are also generally major trigger points for directional continuations. So if we were to sustain above this level, we are looking for continuation. Structurally, we will see breakouts of these high points, and we will likely see directional continuations upwards as what we would have been expecting if we didn't see this correction in the first place. The general target for this move will still be, according to the general measured move range of the prior horizontal consolidation, will still be that directional move into that $85,000 region. That would still be the directional expectation for Bitcoin if we do see a proper bounce and break back through these clouds on the top side and enabling that leading span B to sustain. That is the bullish case scenario. While we are above the leading span B, while we are above the clouds, we are in this general overall uptrend. That is it. For the bearish scenario, what we have noticed is on the 3-day chart particularly, every single time we have dropped below the leading span B, every single time, this is not just once, every single time on the Bitcoin chart in history, we have dropped below the leading span B, we have seen a high time frame correction for Bitcoin. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be a bear market, but we've seen a high time frame correction. A correction of 15% or larger has occurred from the breakdown of that leading span B. So like we just said, not only is it a major support level, it is a major invalidation point or validation point if you are looking for continuations lower. So what would we expect to see if we do break below this level on the 3-day chart? We would expect to see about a 15 to 16% correction downward, which would take us perfectly to retest this high point at around 57 to 58,000. That would be, sorry, my bad, 47 to 48,000. That would be the next target for Bitcoin if we were unable to sustain above the leading span B. For that to happen, we would need to drop back below the 200 SMA. We would have to drop back below that bull market uptrend. We would have to see the short-term price action fail to sustain above this five-week-long downtrend. We would have to see a pretty large correction for Bitcoin. So it is the unlikely scenario, but it is a possibility. As always, there are no certainties in the market. If we take a deeper look, we can go ahead and chuck our Gaussian channel on. What we can see is the Gaussian channel lower band sits at around the price point around 52,000. 52,000 is also a very critical level. Again, generally, when we see a breakdown of the 3-day Gaussian channel, we also see pretty significant high time frame corrections. So that can be added as an area of confluence. Furthermore, the $52,000 level is actually a critical area of high time frame support. If we zoom out over here, we can see from where we are currently sitting, the next major area of support is actually at 52,000. So we can see the VRPV suggests that the next major peak of support is at 52,000, telling us if we were to break below 52,000, not only are we losing a major horizontal area of support, we are losing the leading span be at 53,000 and the Gaussian channel lower band at 52, validating the potential macro bearish continuation to 44,000 or 47 to 48,000 as per our high time frame structural supports. That is something to pay very close attention to if you are on the bearish side and you are looking for those directional continuations lower. You do not have those validations yet. You have to wait just a little more to get those validations to confirm we're going to see those continuations downwards. Okay, let's go over to the daily chart. Moving over to the daily chart, we can see Bitcoin had another great daily close. Right, we had a good daily close over here above 60,000. In fact, this daily close was our second daily close now in a row above the 200 SMA, which is a very good sign, and the 8-month-long uptrend, a very good sign. However, we need to see Bitcoin push higher to fully take control of the price action. We have been saying this for a very, very long time now. The key levels Bitcoin really needs to get over to tell us that the buyers are 100% without a doubt back in control is going to be the 63.1 to 63.8K region. This region right over here. This is the area that Bitcoin 100% needs to break through to tell us that Bitcoin is going to go higher and the buyers are fully in control and the downside possibility is almost off the table. Until we break over that level, the downside risk is still on the table. It is diminishing, but it is on the table. That is a critical level Bitcoin will need to break through. If we take a look at the RSI, we can see the representation of momentum during the periods since the beginning of March 2024 to present has been downtrending. Our RSI has been downtrending. And therefore, we have got a nice trigger point, just like we had on the total, right over here on the total 3, that RSI trigger point. We have a similar one developing here on the Bitcoin chart on the daily. We would like to see a breakout of this RSI. That would signify a positive momentum shift, which would increase the probability we see a breakout of 63.8 and thus a directional continuation higher, as that would be the first sign of major momentum shifts that we have seen for Bitcoin since we saw the prior one at this level when we saw that prior reversal. So we saw a reversal from the breakout here, and we could potentially see a reversal for the breakout here if we do get it again. Something to pay close attention to. So as you can see, guys, by the narrative of today's video, the general consensus that you should be developing in your head is that Bitcoin is attempting to reverse. We are seeing some really good levels sustain. We are seeing some great levels break through. We are seeing some fantastic technical indicators suggesting that Bitcoin is finding its footing. And we have seen the bulls step back in and absorb some of that selling pressure. However, we are not quite out of the woods yet. We still need to go higher to really lock it in for the bulls to push that price action upwards. Until then, there are some looming threats that could actually bring Bitcoin back down. It is unlikely, as we are above these critical levels, but it is still possible. And if we do see that correction downwards, you 100% need to be prepared to execute if that does occur. And that is why I've told you the worst case scenarios for Bitcoin. You know, we told you those lower targets just in case we see those breakdowns. We know where Bitcoin is going to go. Let's finish up on the short term. So the short-term price action, Bitcoin has broken through the 5-week long downtrend. Fantastic stuff. Issue with this now is we can see, according to the VRPV, if we delete everything on the chart really quickly, we can see we are entering this major chunk of resistance. This area here is going to be a very difficult area to break back into and clear through. In fact, guys, if we go ahead and bring up our original trend lines for our high time frame consolidation or high time frame channel, the original levels, we can see we are actually coming up to retest. And sorry, it's a little bit blacked out over here. We're coming up to retest, okay? And I changed the color of the wrong thing. Real quickly, guys, let's go ahead. There it is. We're coming up to retest that range low of the original high time frame consolidation range before we had that official breakdown. And we can see again on the VRPV on the right over here, we have a major pivot point from, again, lower historical resistance to massively increased historical resistance. So we are generally going to see the price action potentially do two things here. Slow down a little bit. It's going to turn into a bit of a slower grind upwards if we keep going, or we're going to see an initial correction for Bitcoin to find this footing again somewhere within this liquidity zone between the price points of 58,000 and, of course, 56,200 before we continue back upwards. If we do see Bitcoin drop below the 58,300 level, this level of support over here again, that is going to invalidate this breakout and confirm that Bitcoin is going to continue lower again. So the most important level we need to sustain above is going to be that 58.3. If we do, like we said, our bullish target is going to be 64K. So provided 58.3 is able to sustain, we expect a continuation to 64K, even if we see a short-term correction, even if we see a short-term pullback, even if we see the price action crash today, provided 58.3K holds, we expect a continuation upwards to 64K. Thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic day. Catch you in tomorrow's video. I'll see you then. Bye.